All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update, and it's a rare Sunday update. I have been so busy over the last couple of days that I wanted to make sure I keep the algorithm fed here on YouTube and get you guys some content. And today's going to be a little bit of a fun one with some interesting stuff sprinkled in. And if you guys didn't know it, yesterday was Batman Day. And they had a lot of the Batman films back in theaters for one day only. I also hit up my comic shop. They had some freebies and some other things in regards to Batman. It was pretty fun yesterday, and some of the posts I'm going to show you guys are going to pertain to Batman Day. And so if you guys did anything for Batman Day, like went to the movies, went to your comic shop, what did you pick up? What did you go see? I would love to hear what you guys did to celebrate Batman Day. It is 85 years old, which is pretty crazy. But let's take a look at the photos that I've grabbed, because there is some hope and some things going on down at Warner Brothers that we are not privy to. Let's take a look. All right, so the first photo I have for you here is something that Dark Infamy posted on Twitter. And I am a lab lover and a dog lover, and this really pulled on my heartstrings a little bit. I thought that was a great photo. If they're going to have Crypto and Superman, I hope they take it seriously. No CGI, and played by a real dog that doesn't act like a human in any way. I didn't like Cosmo in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it was too silly. But this here seems very real, and I hope that's the tone it takes. But yeah, I thought this was a great little photo here. All right, so somebody asked the question, who did it better? So we got the Penguin's car that is purple, well, he called it plum in the Penguin show, and then you have Jared Leto over here on the left in Suicide Squad. I think they were both great, although I thought what the Joker had in Suicide Squad was very fitting for who he was and that character. So James Gunn posted this. He said, capped off my New York City trip last night with the incredible premiere of Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, and was able to share this beautiful movie with a wider audience for the first time. It was great seeing Will Reeve again and meeting the rest of the Reeve family in person for the first time. He talks about a couple of other people here have made such an expertly wonderful film and have been an unceasingly pleasure to work with. Peter and I are grateful that they and the rest of the team entrusted it with DC Studios. We love being a part of this lovely and emotional enterprise, a testament to the true heroes that Chris and Dana were. Also happy to see Jimmy Olsen's best pal, David Cornsweet, show up and share some laughs at the after party. Thanks to Laura I'm not even going to try to pronounce these people's names, for making me look presentable. And again, some of these photos are just weird. I'm going to show you guys these photos. They just look fake smiles and corporate. I've been in the corporate world before, and these are the, hey, I got to pose for something but don't really want to smile. Like this here. Peter Safran always has that same look on his face. That does not look genuine at all. The only one here truly smiling is Will Reeve, and I believe he is enjoying this. It's about time that his father, his story was told. Here's another photo. This is the only time where I could say Peter Safran looks like he might actually be smiling, but David Cornsweet definitely is. James Gunn's got to be forever the goofball. And then here's another photo. James Gunn is actually smiling in this one. I don't know what makes the difference here, but you can see Safran. There's the thing with Safran. I tell you guys, Safran's always got that same look. It's a corporate smile. It's just goofy. And here's James Gunn again trying to look presidential. Now, this is kind of scary. I think this would be a huge mistake. I think he was the best part of the movie, but it says Matt Reeves says he isn't sure if Greg Fraser will be returning as a cinematographer for the Batman 2. I certainly hope that the timing will work out for that, but I actually don't know. And that comes from the Collider. See, Matt Reeves, I think the majority of what made the Batman work was Greg Fraser, not Matt Reeves himself. Now, this is some pretty crazy stuff. I'm going to show you two different ways in which they treat people or treated people down at Warner Brothers. We're first going to take a look at what happened with Justice League and why they didn't wait for, Zack Snyder to mourn the death of his daughter. But then we're going to see what happened with the loss of a beloved pet for James Gunn. He said Warner Brothers executives refused to delay Justice League the release date for fear of losing bonuses. Insiders say when Zack Snyder stepped aside, some wanted to push the release date, but an impending merger got in the way. That's some pretty crazy stuff. Now let's look at how they treated James Gunn. James Gunn briefly shut down the Suicide Squad production after the death of a beloved dog. Yeah. Seems interesting to me. They treat these two individuals very, very differently. And it was the same regime at the time. Shows you that they definitely had this thing against Snyder. Now, David Ayer posted this the other day, and this is what gives us some hope. And I'm going to talk a bit about this and my feelings behind this. But David Ayer actually posted the Warner Brothers symbol again on the building. And that's all he posted, which is indicating that he is probably back there over at Warner Brothers. And he has never said a bad thing about the studio. He's made some remarks, but nothing pointed towards the studio because he wants the Suicide Squad, his version of Suicide Squad, to be released. And he deserves to have it released. And anybody who says move on or forget that movie sucked, and you're all for James Gunn, you guys are hypocrites. Because if you want James Gunn to have his stuff released, but you don't respect the other filmmakers that came before that were trying to do something amazing, that their visions don't ever get to see the light of day, that's a problem. You are the problem. And David Ayer has been a gentleman behind the scenes and done his best, and hopefully they're mending fences so that he can get his Suicide Squad released. He isn't the only one that wants this released. He deserves to have it released, but also the fans really want to see his version of the film. But some people are afraid, the anti-Zack Snyder crowd are afraid of this getting released because it's probably going to paint the Joker in a much better light, and they're very afraid of that. It's going to show you the incompetence of Warner Brothers. Now, I just think this is weird. I don't even know why DC would start a comic series on this. I don't really think there's an audience for it, but it said Metamorpho is getting his own series. Metamorpho, the Element Man, returns in new DC All-In series. So I don't understand why he would be getting a series. I really don't. It's weird. And I think they're probably just doing this to coincide with Superman because people are going to go back. It'll be new enough to where when Superman gets released, people may go back and look for those earlier comics. So this might be basically an interesting chess move by Warner Brothers to sell more comics. Now, this is what scares me about James Gunn. Like I said, he can't focus on singular heroes. Frank Grillo says, who is playing Rick Flag Sr., Guardians is a small thing compared to what this guy, James Gunn, has in mind for DC. Yeah, we shall see as we go into the future. We'll see if it ever comes to fruition. Matt Reeves came out and told Entertainment Weekly that the Batman 2 script is finished. That doesn't mean it's finalized. It doesn't mean the movie has been greenlit yet, because as James Gunn said, he needs to okay everything before anything moves forward. Zack Snyder was asked what movie he's most proud of, and he responded with Watchmen. He said, I think Watchmen is like the cleanest and kind of most satisfying transition to adapted material. And I would agree with that. They pretty much he adapted that like almost one-to-one to the comic, which was pretty cool. And that movie, again, was ahead of its time. Now, this is pretty cool. Will Reeve on his experience filming a cameo for James Gunn's Superman. It was a good time, and I was honored to do it. And he talked about that being on The View. Now, for those who didn't see it, it should be in one of the cards at the end of my video that you can click. But my last video was the review for The Penguin Episode 1. So if you haven't seen that review yet, it is up. I posted it yesterday, and I appreciate everybody who's watched that video thus far. Here's another piece of art by somebody on Twitter, And again, they're showing the suit as tight-fitting, which it certainly is not. I'm going to continue to share these. It's going to be interesting to see when footage actually gets released, but I'm betting they are not going to fix the suit, guys. That is my guess, but we shall see. This is pretty cool. This comes from Jay Oliva. He said, "Happy Batman Day, everyone. Batman." And as we know, he had this incredible fight planned between Batman and Deathstroke in the Batman film that never got made, that was going to be directed by and starring Ben Affleck. It's a shame we never got to see this, but this is pretty cool when people share stuff like this on these special days. All right, guys, so there you have it. Some pretty cool stuff this morning. If you haven't already, I am on the road to 20,000 subs. I would appreciate a like on the video, and if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up. We'll see you guys on the next one.